And I'm Chef Dennis, and I'm here with Renee Bowdy, and we are making vegan corn chowder today. How you doing, Renee?
I'm good, Chef Dennis. How are you?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day in Florida.
It's a beautiful day here. I think we probably have better weather than you do.
You might, because it's cloudy.
Oh, well, it's always cloudy here, so that's like that's like normal, but the temperature is phenomenal. It's really great. So this week we're doing corn chowder. I don't know how so this is the PDF that I've done up, and then this is what I will be putting on the website. So there will be a blog post with the information on how to make it. Then you'll get this PDF, which is my cheat sheet of how I make it. And then you will also be able to watch this lab. So when you go to the website, reneebowdy.com, you get all of that. And I'll throw in, no, just kidding. So today, a set of Ginsu knives. Yeah. Okay, so today corn chowder is pretty, I've moved this around. Is this okay now? Good. Corn chowder is one of the things that I would always make in the deli because you could put, soup lends itself to having just about anything in it, but corn chowder for some reason was one of this, like my potato soup was a huge favorite, and corn chowder was an equal favorite to this little leftover onion from yesterday. It's a little tough, but you can
try corn chowder for the first time, because sometimes they have that blank look on their face, and then when they taste it, it's like, oh my God, this is good.
So I'm cutting my onions first because I like to let them, they won't be exactly caramelized, but I don't, in my soups, I like to slowly do the vegetables together versus, a quick saute. Because soup is, a comfort food. So you don't want to rush it, right?
No, you got to let the vegetables all come together and just build those flavors.
These onions they're white sweet onions, but they're tough. They
sound crisp, very crisp.
Yeah, it's like cutting an apple. It's weird. Usually your knife, I have to cut them. Usually it's not like that. Okay. So I've got 1.5 onions, and I'm using 1.5 because I had a half of an onion left over from last night's dinner. I made goulash.
Ooh.
Not vegan, and so this is okay. I won't. I gotta peel while I'm telling the story. So my mom had a heart transplant, and so this goes back 10, 15 years. Well, she's been gone, maybe 15, almost 20 years. She had some heart issues. So when we moved back home, and I would see her every single day. Whether she was at home or in the hospital, it didn't matter. I would see her every single day. But after a while, 3 months, because I had a 8-week-old, and so I would go into the intensive care unit. He would be in the backpack, and they would like cover him in the blue gown stuff in the back because it was like, what do you call it? Like it had to be germ free. So I needed a break after a while. So I said, Mom, you know, I'm really sorry you're dying, but I need one day off from like doing all the stuff that I was doing. And so she said, okay, how about Wednesday night you make dinner for Jim, her husband, and you send him to the hospital with leftovers for dinner. So I said, okay, you know, that sounds like a good thing. So Jim, my stepdad, Jim started coming over every Wednesday, and he came over every single Wednesday, and then Sunday we would go to Mass together, and then after Mass he would come over for cookies, tea, and sometimes, depending on the Mass, for lunch. So every Wednesday he would come over and we would have dinner for 10 years. So it was really fun for him because he got to see, you know, he was there like for the next 3 babies, like all through the pregnancies, all through absolutely everything. And so it was really fun for him, and he really, really looked forward to it because my mom died a year after we moved back home. So he wanted me to make this goulash, which is just red sauce, noodles, red sauce with ground beef, and noodles and tons of cheese. And so it's layered. And I never ever liked goulash. I never ever liked goulash anyway, but for him I made it. And so last night, it's springtime, so the kids are missing home, and they are missing Pop because Pop passed a little while ago. So last night we had frosted sugar cookies, and which were his favorite, and goulash. I know, right? So I had half an onion left over from goulash. That was the story. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I started some water boiling before we started, and I'm just dropping these potatoes, 2 potatoes, minus what just fell on the floor, into that pot, because that will be my thickening, or that will be the major part of my thickening and the creaminess of this soup. All right, then my next, I kind of got to, I think I'm just going to use 2 potatoes in the chowder part. And there were so many, Chef Dennis, it was rainy last night. So there was, you know, kind of just drizzly rainy. But I was able to sleep with my windows open. It was beautiful.
Perfect weather for sleep.
And so I went out and I gathered up worms. Yeah, because the turtle, I have turtles. And when I was buying turtles from like the gas station so people could go fishing, but the turtles got sick on those worms. So, I won't bore you with the details on how I knew my turtles were sick. I just have a very good relationship with your turtles, and I know when they're not feeling well. So I took them to the vet, which is a special turtle vet, and she said, yes, indeed, your turtles are not feeling well. So I'm gonna.
We have a lot of turtles in Florida. They're always crossing roads. You have to wait for them. Ooh, very nice.
So that's what it's looking like. So that's what it's looking like. Yes, I stop for turtles and help them across the street. So, and yes, I stop traffic and I think, yes, all the police here know me that I'm like the crazy turtle lady. Okay, so I am just kind of dicing these. I want them to be, I want this soup to be kind of chunky. So when you get a potato on a spoon, I want you to have a bite of a potato on a spoon, right?
It's always good to be able to identify your vegetables.
Yes. So I'm doing the stuff that takes longest first. So carrots, potatoes, and then carrots, and then the celery, and then the peppers. And then by the time I get all of that done, then we'll be ready to, everything will be ready to go, I think. Or, you know, to move, they'll be cooked enough in the pan.
I always enjoyed making soups. It was partly therapy for me because it is such a comforting food, I think.
Well, I'm watching Cook on Netflix, and he talks about, you know, as a food writer, if I could be any kind of a food writer, I would want to be like the female Michael Pollan. And because I love the research just as much as I love the, you know, everything else about it. So he talked about how food is the only, how we outsource food. And it was just interesting. I have to listen to it again.
Well, I think
but the whole thing was very
phenomenon in soup is that soup has taken over center stage in a lot of instances. And where we used to create soup out of nothing but leftovers, now we're making soup specifically from recipes, and it's new from all new stuff. So it's kind of we've elevated it over the years because it's like, what kind of soup you're making? I said, I don't know. I have to see what I have left over. I still do that most of the time because I'm only cooking for myself and my wife. If I was cooking like you're cooking for your family and they have specific requests, but that means sometimes the soup might be just a little bit different depending on what I have.
Well, that's why the white bean, the vegan white bean chili, they absolutely love that because I use that base from Frontera Grill, which is always the same. And the potato soup that I make is, it's just potatoes, celery. What did I put in it? One I put carrots in, the other one I didn't. So it was potatoes, onion, celery, and that's it. So that flavor is going to be pretty consistent. And I think that's one of the things with kids is that they crave that consistent flavor, right? And that's what they love about Grandma's house is that, you know, the fried chicken is always the same because Grandma never changes the recipe. So that's one of the things that I really about when I'm cooking for the kids is how do I establish a culinary routine for them, yet also incorporate a new food. So, so my peppers, I cut the tops off, and I will actually use this to make a. I'm not going to do it now. I actually use this as a. I have one kid who loves flowers, so I will take the stem out, and then I will put hummus in it, and then I will do vegetables around it and make like this beautiful like little plate for her.
I'll tell you something.
Well, you know, I want the kids to understand the beauty of food. And it's not, and as soon as you see that, you start talking about the shapes and the colors and, you know, what else can you, the shapes and the colors and the textures. And we have games where I'll have, like, probably tonight, what I'll do is I will cut peppers up, and then one kid will feed another. Wow, that is really. One kid will feed another kid. If I'm stranded on an island, I want this knife. And they'll feed each other peppers, and then they'll guess what color the pepper is. I know. That I have odd children. So did you saw how I cut the top off and I cut the bottom off? And this is like a cute little, this would be like a cute little boat.
Excellent.
To put hummus into. We have a lot of food boats in our house. But the reason I cut it like this is so that I can get the little cute, the diced peppers. Because a lot of people ask me, how do you get, how do you get your on Instagram? They'll see pictures of food and they'll say, how do you get your, everything chopped?
Well, that's the whole trick to it, and that's what they don't teach you, like in culinary school, where they don't always do a lot of things with the waste, or it becomes stock. Because to get those perfect little same size dices all the time, you end up losing a portion of the vegetable you're cutting.
Yes, and in this house, we have like a waste not, want not kind of a, okay. And I keep adding a little bit of vegetable broth to this. To get, I'm always talking about the layers of flavor. I am getting those layers of flavor by letting, it's the same thing that you do when you make a roast beef. You know how you brown it or braise it or brown it. So yeah, you sear it and then you add a little bit of water to get all those, and then you flip it, and then you sear it all the way around before you put it in the oven to keep in all those juices in there. But what that also does is it makes that that wonderful crispy brownish gravy from the bits that are the bits.
You gotta love good pan juices.
Yes, we at the farmers market that we go to in Libertyville, they have a really great is it a farm? I don't know. It's they sell meat, but it's like pasture.
Yeah.
Grass fed. Yeah. It's like, because I'm like, I walk up to the guy like, do you know the cow's name? Do you name the cow? I try not to be like that lady on, there's a Saturday Night Live skit. I try not to be that lady, but I just want to know if I'm going to feed my family meat, I want to know that there's as much good karma as can come from killing an animal, right? So I'm not against, I would get in trouble here by like, I'm getting like all kinds of hate mail from vegans lately because I'm not vegan enough. But yes. Because like we have a guy who does work on the house and he has, he's a deer hunter and he goes out and shoots deer, and luckily I get that venison, he gives me, some venison from, every year. And it might just be a couple of steaks or something, but I cook it up and it is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. You have to have cast iron and you got to work fast, but it is so good. And that kind of meat, it's like he was one with nature, and, bow hunters, I even get more excited about. I've not met a bow hunter yet. Okay. And now
the star of the show.
And the potatoes are done. So I don't know how long that took, but the potatoes are done. Okay, so the corn that I'm using is frozen corn, and it's obviously on the cob. And I'm just going to cut it off of the cob. I am also going to use a little bit of this baby white and gold here. This white and gold corn.
Do you use the leftover cob for your stock?
I do when it's not when it's fresh from the farmer's market. I don't when it's frozen like this because I'm not a fan of frozen corn like this because I'm not sure it's not organic. And I could not find organic corn in the store that I went to. I know Trader Joe's has a nice organic corn, frozen corn that everyone likes. But we don't eat very much corn. I mean, we eat it during the season. And then this past year, I bought a boatload of it and froze it. And that went before Christmas.
One of the things I found in Florida was we have corn almost all year round here. It's wild. They grow corn, I think, 9 or 10 months out of the year. Yeah.
So they must rotate.
I don't know,
the
but
crops.
I mean, I always thought, I'm thinking, where's this corn from? And I would get it, and it was delicious. It was almost as good as Jersey corn, sometimes better. And then I looked up, well, when is corn grown? And I think there is like 2.5 months or 3 months during the year, which is the same for oranges. There's a couple months in the summer that it's just too hot to grow oranges. But these are like interspersed during the year, different times. They just don't have it. So they must rotate it. And it's been a little colder this winter, so we haven't seen any. That might be why.
All right. Oh, I can't. I'm like, how many ears was that? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of these baby half ears of corn. And the reason why I cut them when they're frozen is 1, because it's easier. And 2, they don't like fresh corn is gonna like spit all over the place. I just got everything all over my computer. So if you cut fresh corn, you want to cut it in a bowl. So that when it doesn't, or in your sink, so that when it splatters, or outside would be even better. Then I'm gonna move this camera. So I did it in chunks like this, and I talked about this on the pre-show that I did yesterday. I'm going to.
Yep. Good.
How's that? That looks good. I like to use the frozen corn because it sticks together. I mean, you can't like get in there and stir it like a maniac, but you definitely can gently stir the corn and it will stay nice. Now, I suppose I should measure, shouldn't
I? I don't worry about it.
One of the things that I do is like that's a tablespoon. So what I do when I do this for teaspoons too, because cooking or baking recipes always ask for a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. So I just measure it in my hand, and then when I go to use it, I just use my hand to measure. So you don't really need to get a tablespoon of flour in these vegetables should probably be enough. And if you're gluten-free, you probably don't even need to use that. You don't need to use flour. And then this would be vegan. And then I'm going to use a little bit of garlic powder. Whoopsies. all over the stove. And a little bit of white pepper. Not a lot. The kids are in soups. They don't always like chunks of garlic. The garlic pepper adds a nice flavor without. Okay. Now I have my potatoes that were boiled. You could use the emulsifier, but they're they're pretty soft, so you don't really.
No reason to get something else like that dirty. This works well. Do you ever use a ricer for mashed potatoes?
No, I bought a ricer for that one time I made gnocchi. Remember I talked about that? And I tried to make gnocchi maybe 5 or 6 times. And then I said, you know what? It's just not friggin' worth it, and I'm just going to buy it. Okay, so so that's the cream in my chowder. And then I'm going to add a little bit more broth. And that will, as it comes to a boil, it will thicken up. So you can, this corn now will take the heat down because the soup was boiling. This will take the heat down. And that will be perfect for then bringing the heat up gently to then cook the rest of it. And it's not going to take that long to cook. I'm going to add a little bit more. And that will be, just want to check my carrots. Oh, perfect. Carrots are cooked perfectly. You kind of want to take everything off the heat before, otherwise it kind of turns all to mush, right? So my carrots are perfectly cooked, and I'm going to turn my heat up. I'm going to get it to, it's kind of boiling on the sides there, so I'm going to leave it like that. And that is just going to be a beautiful soup. And I like it. I like the carrots a little crunchy, and I like the celery. Did I add celery? Yeah, I did. 3 stalks of celery. How can I forget celery? So yeah, I like my soup. I like my soups a little on the thick side, and I like them chunky. Hi, Leland. And how do I sound, Leland? We had some issues this morning. And, just hearty. Because this soup, the kids wanted me to make homemade bread today, which I still may make just in the rice maker.
In the bread maker.
In the bread, I wonder if I could make bread in the rice maker. So I'll just slap a loaf in, and it will be. It's a nice thing about the bread maker is that it just sits in there, warming until it's time for dinner. So I may do that. So I'm going to do a simple salad with some tomatoes, just sliced tomatoes, and the bread and the soup, and that's going to be enough.
Great.
It's going to be perfect.
You should do a video. You were talking about chunky soups, and you could do, I like chunky soups, I cannot lie. There you go.
That would be, the sound is a little high.
It is. Every now and then you're when you're close, it's a little buzzy.
So
just a little bit.
Away. Okay.
It's your
back away from the microphone, and no one gets hyped. Yeah, no one gets hurt. It's my passion that comes through. Okay, so next week So let's do a recap. This was vegan corn chowder, which is going to be super yummy, and I can't wait to eat. It doesn't look good. And what's fun is that you can, my kids don't like this, but I do it anyway. I serve it on a soup spoon because then that way, or I have the, what are the Oriental spoons, the ceramic ones? Whatever, I'm sure they have a special name for them. But I have a set of those from when we lived in San Francisco, or outside when we were in California. I would go to San Francisco a lot. And so I brought these little spoons, and they're super for soup because you can get so much on them. So, and this soup is great for that because you get like a little gigantic hunk of corn on it. Where was I going with that? Okay, so corn chowder. Next week is sweet potatoes 101. So wonton spoons? Yeah, I don't know. So we next week is sweet potatoes. So I'll do them baked. I will do them in the slow cooker, which is a great way to cook them, and then on the stove.
Sounds good.
So yeah, because sweet potatoes are good for a lot of things.
I saw a picture. I forget what they did with it, but they did sweet potato noodles, and I forget what it was with, but I think I wrote it down so I can try and replicate it. Yeah, it looked really nice. So I love the way they look so colorful when you do the zoodler and make it. It's just great that way. So no, it was wonderful. Another good soup. Last week we did the potato soup. Was it last week? I lose track.
Last week was
that's right. They were good too. So yeah.
Okay. But the potato soup recipe, did you see how many replays that got? Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. Yes. I'm loving it. Everyone who watches the replay makes the dang soup. It was so easy to do. So easy. And, if you're not vegan, you can always slap some bacon on it or ham, which is slap some bacon, slap bacon on anything. And then pretty much anything I make, you add bacon to. So, Chef Dennis, what show do you have coming up right after this one?
At 12:05 with Susan Sarah, I am making Chinese tangerine beef, which was I had made for a job I did, and I wanted to share the recipe online because Oriental food is really easy to make. It's just about having those right ingredients on hand for the sauces, and it's generally the meats or anything you're cooking is so fast that it takes no time at all. It's marinating it if you're marinating it and getting it ready and then getting those ingredients together. So I'll be making that today. And then Christine is coming on at 1:15, and she is making blondies, vegan blondies. So.
Oh, those will be nice.
So yeah, so it's fun.
Very good.
A good day of food. I spoke at a conference on Sunday, and there were some vegans and vegetarians there. And I said, I said, I am the carnivore between two vegans every Wednesday. I said,
and did they like that?
Yeah, they did. Because I actually did a setup. I brought everything to the conference where I was speaking. That was a mini conference for Florida Blog, and I set up the induction cooker the way I had the cameras on tripods and overhead so they could see.
Oh, I saw that picture of you surrounded by women.
I know. There were three men there, and one of them was questionable. So, which doesn't bother me. I'm just saying. Anyway, but it was all women. Yeah, it was great. And they were very attentive. Had a good time.
Oh, good. Good. I am going, hopefully, in April, I'm going to Veg Fest in Michigan.
Oh, cool.
And hopefully I will, I've started now because I have sponsors for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one taco night after.
Yes.
So that will be I just reached out to the company, Gardein, that I use their product all the time. I'm always posting on Instagram. how wonderful, because I use it.
Yeah.
That's the product that I use to introduce. I don't like a lot of how do you say that, fake food. I don't use, almost all of my recipes are whole foods recipes that do not use a lot of
processed,
crumbles and fake fish and whatnot. But I do use their product probably about 3 times a month, and everybody loves it. They all absolutely love it. So so I reached out to them and they said, "Yeah, we'll send you some stuff."
I guess so. It'd be fun.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, someone from I'm going out to Salt Lake in the end of May, and someone that's going to be at that conference was there Sunday too. So we got to talk. Her blog is called Beauty and the Beats. I love it. I know.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I like that.
So so we're having fun today, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing your deliciousness with us. And will you have this posted up, or I know you said you had the PDF, the cheat sheet, and you'll have everything else posted?
Yes. I am. Yes, I will have. I didn't post lentil burgers, which I'm not sure why I didn't, because I went to I went to write up the pre-write up so that I could post this right away, and then I realized that I didn't post the lentil burgers. So yes, today I will be posting corn chowder and with the PDF cheat sheet, and I will also be posting lentil burgers with the PDF cheat sheet. And then I'm going to go back and make sure that I have the PDF. I mean, I know I've done the PDFs, and I thought that I inserted them all into the blog post, but now I'm doubting myself. So I'm going to spend the whole afternoon on the computer going back and double, triple checking.
And I just posted the link to your website there, so people can go there to get a bunch of great recipes. And if you have suggestions for any of us, please let us know what you'd like to see us make. I sit there and I try to think what would people want to see. So half the time, I don't know if it is or not, but then I make what I want to make. So if you guys don't tell us, we'll make what we want to make.
Well, I'm also following kind of seasons. So my last few weeks have been all root vegetables or things that would, eating seasonally, even though it's the dead of winter, with some, obviously peppers are not. But I still have carrots that I'm wintering, and I still have apples. I'm doing a small experiment. Yes, because the lady at the farmer's market said that I could keep Honeycrisp apples in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. Yes. So I have a thing in the back of my refrigerator that says, whatever you do, do not eat this food in this container. So, so I have, in that container, I have carrots and apples to see how long they'll last and still be nice. Right? So, so these carrots are from last year's harvest. So last October, November. I'm not sure when the last time I got carrots.
The question I have is, I had a produce person tell me once that carrots, because I was buying them in bigger amounts, lose a lot of their nutrition after a few days after they're pulled out of the ground. They said that was one thing that you need to get fresh. And I'm going, well, how the heck do you get carrots fresh all the time? It's kind of hard. So I don't know if that was just something they were telling us to sell their fresh produce, or
come back next week, buy more carrots. Well, I will write that down. I'll have your answer next week.
You'd find out. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Yes, I would not think that they lose. Now, carrots have different. Carrots are interesting in that eating them raw, you get a different set of nutrients than when you eat them cooked. And the bioavailability, which I will not bore you with the details, but the bioavailability of carrots is very different than, say potatoes. Who would eat a raw potato? But you might. So like blueberries are a good example. Cooked blueberries, their bioavailability is a little different, but cooked blueberries and raw blueberries are pretty consistent.
Okay.
So waving my
Leland says he eats raw potato.
Oh, Leland.
I like to make my raw potatoes into vodka, Leland.
Oh, a garnish. A garnish for a nice, yeah. You know, I really should do cooking with cocktails. Go. I need to move my. I'll need to move my show to noon.
Yeah, that's fine. We can move it up a little. We can do it, or you can do it after Chris. Well, when we'll find a time. It can be another day too. A special event. We can do you and who. Someone wanted to come. Oh, a friend of mine, Adam Avidable, who is a comedian. He's also known as the Nude Guy. He's a big guy. He says his mother says she can't Google him because it always comes up the Nude Guy. But he wanted to do a bacon show with me. So we could do a vegan cocktail and bacon show. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Or I mean there are cocktails that I have made that have I wonder if I can say this. Bacon and maple syrup around the rim. And it was I did not do my drink, but making it was a lot of fun.
I was at a whiskey dinner and I just tasted everything because I'm not a big whiskey fan, but I tasted all the cocktails. And one of the ones they made was interesting. It was bacon fat aged whiskey. And they took the bacon fat and then they separated it later. And it gave the whiskey this different kind of flavor.
Oh my God.
I know. And they served it with a piece of like candied bacon in the center of it.
You can go, folks. You can go too far bacon. You can have too much bacon in there. I've said it.
And Leland said it's a little porky, perhaps, but that's okay.
Okay, I am going to go have some lunch here and work on my blog post.
Very good, and I will see everyone come over and watch me at 12:05 or at 1:15.
Yes. Leland had one more comment. Bacon ice cream, actually, I made vanilla ice cream with homemade caramel and then chunks of bacon bits on it. This is my pre-vegan days when I indulged in like all of that. I can say that was super, super yummy. Super yummy.
One last thing before we go is I had to do this competition and I knew I wasn't going to win, but I wanted them to remember me forever. One of those kind of things. So I was going to make blue cheese ice cream with buffalo wings.
Did that work?
Yeah. And I figured out why later. I ended up taking it in a different direction because I made my ice cream like I made blue cheese dressing and I pureed it into it. It was too much. What I should have done was made vanilla. I made a sour cream ice cream. I should have made that and just put some chunks in it. And then it would have been all good. But I ended up making a sour cream ice cream with candied bacon, chocolate-coated sea salt potato chips, and a bourbon caramel sauce. I forget what else I put on it. They remembered me, but the buffalo chicken was good.
I bet. All right. Yeah. All right. I love making ice creams. As a pastry chef, one of the things that I got to do was make all of the ice creams for this fancy restaurant, and it was like that was a dream come true. That was phenomenal. Okay, all right. Goodbye. I will see you next week.
Sounds good.
Or before. I'll see you in an hour.
I'll be there.
Bye.
See y'all later. Bye.
All right.